Germany to deny citizenship to pro-Palestinian social media users. Now, let's clarify what that means. In a controversial move, Germany has announced a significant changes to its citizenship laws, including denying citizenship to individuals who express certain pro-Palestinian statements on social media. This decision is part of broader reforms at making citizenship more accessible to foreign residents, reducing the required residency period from 8 to 5 years. However, the new policy has also tightened restrictions based on Germany's historical responsibility to the Holocaust. The changes specifically target users who like, comment, or post the slogan "From the river to the sea," which is seen as challenging Israel's right to exist. This policy stems from a clause of Germany's citizenship laws, which concerns, quote, Germany's special historical responsibility for the nationalist, socialist injustice and its consequences, especially for the protection of Jewish life. The Federal Ministry of the Interior emphasized that context matters, particularly when pro Palestinian slogans coincide with calls for violence against Israel. To reinforce this stance, Germany has also introduced Holocaust related questions in citizenship tests. Germany's Interior Minister, Nancy Faeser, emphasized the country's position, stating, quote, if you don't share our values, you can't get a German passport. We have a crystal clear red line here. This decision has sparked intense debate around social media and free expression and the balance between honoring historical responsibilities and the current political tensions and the role of social media in citizenship eligibility. So, let's unpack this a little bit. So, we've talked about these new rules that Germany is doing for their citizenship requirements. And this is part of a broader reform, and some things about this reform are making it easier for people to get citizenship, to get a passport. But at the same time as they're making like the residency period less and other things, make it a little they making it so you don't have to I think making it easier if you're a dual national. They're making some things easier at the same time. They're making their criteria of who they accept a lot more strict. So, and this requires a lot more stringent testing based on values, ideals, and beliefs. So, we talked about this before, and we talked about how it is going, or I can't remember off the top of my head what is the status of this legislation. But basically, one of the criteria that is part of this new package is that you have to recognize Israel's right to exist. If you do not recognize Israel's right to exist, you are not going to be allowed to continue through the citizenship process. Similarly, this new news that we're hearing about kind of follows down that line. So, there wasn't a ton of information about this in English. If there are people who are German speakers, I'd be really interested to learn about if there's more specifics about this in the media in German. Because based on what is reported in English media, the main piece that they bring up when talking about, okay, it's not just that all pro Palestinian social media suddenly becomes a disqualifier. That's not my understanding. My understanding is that you have to use specifically the phrase "from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." Um, and also have it in the context of calling for violence against Israel or denying Israel's right to exist. And that's part of why that specific phrase is such a problem, because from the river to the sea, from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, Palestine will be free. That calls for the elimination of Israel, which is against Germany's interest in their historical responsibility of protecting Jewish life. And Purple Pulp saying, I just banned myself. Oh, yeah. Don't clip it and send it to the German authorities. Um, so I thought this was very, very interesting. And I have a few more things that I want to comment. But Armin, let's get your reaction first.
Yeah, so actually, it's good that a lot of people in the chat are have said the things that I could respond to, because I don't even have to take notes, because the comments will make responding to the comments are my notes. Young Atheist is saying, if Germany did this, why other Western countries are not doing this? Well, that's a good question, Young Atheist. And also, it sets a precedent. It's normalizing it. Hopefully, because one liberal country has done it, other liberal countries will. It becomes less of a taboo for other countries to do it as well. Hopefully, I'm not saying it will happen, but at least it's basically making it easier for other liberal countries to do the same, because it normalizes it. And then this person is saying the Islamists who are already in Germany will breed faster now. Yes, this is not a obviously not a solution. Uh, this is just a confirmation that these things are possible. Obviously, this is doesn't even scratch the surface, but at least we get to say here, we told you so, that these things are possible, that you could do these things,
Well,
and
if
all the other things.
Armin can
And
say
no,
I
no,
told
hold
you
on.
so. I was skeptical, and now he can
Yeah, well,
dance
no,
on
you
me.
should be. No, no, it's good to be skeptical. You should be skeptical. But I'm just gonna say that all the other things that I suggested, that doesn't contradict liberal values, they are also possible. This doesn't even scratch the surface of what we need to do, right? Um, when it comes to, I think, uh, but 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 given that this is now possible, then all the other suggestions that are considered fascistic or tyrannical or a violation of free speech, and I will tell you why this is not a violation on anyone's free speech. I could tell you that soon, because somebody, I think, brought it up. But all the other things that we're suggesting, for example, making it mandatory that children are educated in school regarding de-radicalization content, and being very aggressive about it, like Islamic teaching being challenged in schools and it being mandatory on all kids, including the children of Muslim families, and also being tested for the government to make sure that the children are understanding this, separating children from parents that are not participating in this de-radicalization process. And this is also not fascistic at all. In every school, in most schools all around the world, including liberal countries, it is mandated that children need to read and learn how to read and write. It is mandated that children need to learn how to do math. So it could, given that we have a precedent, it could also be mandated that children have to go through a de-radicalization education process. If this is fascistic, then teaching children math is also fascistic. Um, uh, Closing every single institution that is teaching Islamic values is not a violation of freedom of expression, because I think freedom of expression is for individuals. It doesn't necessarily have to hold for institutions and organizations and schools. Every single institution that is teaching Islamic values should be shut down. Should be shut down.
Okay, I'm not gonna follow you on
Anybody.
that one.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying that, given that I'm saying, I told you that this is not too much, and now you can see that it's not too much. So all the other things that I'm suggesting is also not too much. Anybody who gets a citizenship, and then after they get their citizenship, come and support Palestine in this way, or so. For example, I think this citizenship is not good enough. So it shouldn't just be this one chant. Any form, anything that could be considered anti-Semitic, any anti-LGBT position, uh, these should be including in the test. Like when I became a Canadian citizen, one thing that we should have agreed with was that FGM, female genital mutilation, is bad. We should have said agreed with that. So, given that we have a precedent for that in liberal countries, I think we could add a whole bunch of other values that people should be agreeing with when they become citizens, right? They should be anti-FGM. They should be pro-LGBT. They should be pro-Israel. I think that it's not enough to for you not to get a citizenship if you have an anti-Israeli position, like from the river to the sea. I think you should be made to actually have a pro-Israeli position. You have to actually take a stance that you defend Israel's right to exist, to get citizenship. I think that should be part of the agenda, part of the requirements. And also, I think anytime, if you have anything on social media ever that suggests that this is not your view, then whatever you say will not be accepted of you. And even after that, even after you get your citizenship, if there's anything on social media or if you participate in any protest that suggests that you were lying on your citizenship test, your citizenship should be removed from you in with the understanding that you never got it to begin with because it was based on a lie. These are the measurements I think all these Western liberal countries should go with. And again, none of this is a violation of your free speech because, first of all, when you are becoming a citizen, you're not a citizen yet. So you don't have the privilege of that other citizens enjoy. It's not your right. The right of freedom of expression is for the citizens, not for people who want to become citizens. And also, even if you're a citizen, if you create an institution that is promoting vile ideas, you have the freedom of expression as an individual, but you don't have that as an institution. The institution should be able to be broken apart, and I think that's not a violation of free speech either. So yeah. Susie is very skeptical. Look at her eyes. She's very scared.
I'm I'm thinking. I'm thinking deeply. Okay,
Okay,
here's the
keep.
thing. Armin, I want to clarify something. You make it sound like people who are immigrants and refugees and asylum seekers like have no free expression rights. Like that's not true. Like here's the
No, I
thing.
didn't say that.
I said you make it sound like.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I want people to understand that like they do. Like immigrants have rights, okay? But just that doesn't mean that your record of what you have said and what you have expressed will not be used when considering your background and if you are eligible and a good fit for citizenship. Do people understand the difference?
Yeah. So just to be clear, I didn't say immigrants don't have rights. What I'm
No,
suggesting
I
is
know, I
that
know, I know.
the I just want to clarify for other people. What I'm suggesting is that, first of all, rights are not in nature. Rights are given and taken. Rights is rights. The rights that you have are the rights that a nation states decides to give to you. So it's about what rights should you have. Obviously, the rights that a nation state gives to its citizens are above and beyond than the rights and freedoms the nation state gives to its non-citizens, or else there wouldn't be any point to citizenship. The whole point of citizenship is now, as a citizen, you get to enjoy more rights in this nation state. So obviously, immigrants have rights, but citizens have more rights, and that's the whole point of citizenship.
Sure.
Yeah,
I just wanted to
yeah,
clarify that because sometimes people in the live
right.
chat act like I'm woke because I
No,
believe
no, no,
immigrants
no,
have rights.
no. No. People in the live chat are, a lot of them are agreeing with you. The cat lady is saying, I'm also skeptical. I'm with Susie. John is saying Susie's right to be skeptical. Yeah, of course. So I just don't want you to think like, yeah, this is so. Yeah.
No, like, okay, here's the thing. I was with you for most of it. I've been very skeptical of someone's Armin's positions in the past where I'm like, okay, like I see the utility in what you're proposing, but I don't think like they'll ever be able to legally implement it. And this has proven me wrong once again. That being
Yes. No, no.
said, um I was not with you on the banning all Islamic institutions. I want to hear you justify that, sir.
Well, if, for example, if we have an institution, a far right institution that is teaching white supremacy, right? all of these liberal countries, all of these European countries are completely, they wouldn't wait a freaking second to come and shut it down, right? As an
That's not
institution,
true.
right?
Not in America, that's
Well, I
not
mean,
true. In Germany,
no, I said
sure.
these ones.
In
I
America,
said
that would
specifically these ones. I
I didn't
said
know what that
these
meant.
ones, right?
Okay.
Okay, okay, okay. So I think that given that Islamic teachings include slavery, includes misogyny, includes anti-LGBT, they should apply the same standards. Again, that's not a violation of your free speech, because as an individual, you could go hold those beliefs and say those beliefs. So here's the thing: when you incorporate, or right, or you become a nonprofit or another corporation, or you build an institution, that is a privilege. That is the government is giving you a framework for you to be able to use that framework to continue to do those operations. That the government doesn't owe you that. When we say we defend freedom of speech, that means as an individual, the government should not come and stop you from expressing certain views. But it doesn't mean that it owes you the framework of the legal framework that it has provided for people to be able to operate to people with such horrific, barbaric beliefs to promote them. Why would the government owe you that? You could still have those opinions as an individual, but why would I aid you with that? So removing that privilege from you is not a violation of your freedom of expression, in my opinion.
Okay,
That's
if
how I
you're
look at it.
looking at this within the context of all of the things that Germany has built into its laws to curtail and monitor anti-Semitic expression, which is something that's like on the books. People need to understand that. I don't know if people know like how seriously Germany takes anti-Semitism. If you're
Mm.
taking it within that context, I think you make a lot of sense. Um and actually that raised a point when I was doing this research. I was learning a little bit more about how Germany like what's the word I'm looking for? I guess like integrates or takes this stance of a special historical responsibility for the Holocaust upon itself within its own legislation and penal code. And I wasn't able to find like a lot of information about this in English. So if there are any Germans that could teach me more about what this special historical responsibility means in German law, I'd be very, very interested to learn more about that. Because it seemed like a very specific conception. And one thing that I think I wanted to highlight when talking about this is that because of when, most of us were born, I don't know if we appreciate the extent to which the Holocaust as an event changed the way that we as humans conceive of humankind. And
Yeah.
when doing my research on this topic last night, I was thinking once again about how there's the kind of a parallel to October 7th, being like this October 7th itself was also a war upon what we believe of humankind itself. And I I don't know. It makes sense to me why the Germans are taking that so seriously and personally. Um and also I think it's very interesting that Olaf Scholz has come forward and recently, about a month ago, I think, literally come out and said that Islamism specifically has no place in Germany. I don't know if I've heard of any Western leader saying it in those terms so plainly and so boldly. And, as much as we like to trash politicians and stuff because we get frustrated by them, when a politician does something that we appreciate, we should praise them to incentivize more of that behavior. They're humans too. They need carrots just like the rest of us. They need the carrot and the stick just like the rest of us. So I would like to praise Olaf Scholz for openly saying that Islamism has no place in Germany. I think it was
Yeah.
very well. People need to understand that the foil to anti-Semitism is not Islamophobia, it's Islamism. And I think it's awesome to call out in those terms. And you're seeing the German state really act upon that sentiment now. You know, hopefully
Well,
not too little too late,
to be
but
fair, I mean, it does seem a little bit too late. Well, not a little bit. I mean, I think a lot of people say this is too little, too late, and I agree with them. Okay, I think there's Germany has been hit so much,
mhm,
and I mean, I still welcome this. Okay, I agree. A lot of people in the chat were saying this is too little, too late. Okay, um, but here's the two things. Okay, that is very beneficial. First of all, don't underestimate the I told you so part of this, right? Because the things that are doing was considered to be far right. What Germany is doing right now is considered to be far right, and now these central, liberal parties are doing it, which basically means that even if what they're doing is too little too late, it validates all the people that were criticizing them, all the anti-mass migration, all the people who were concerned about the rise of Islamism in Europe. Basically, they're putting a stamp of, without actually saying it, they're saying you were right, we were wrong, right?
yeah, they can't
And
actually say
also,
it. They
they
can't say
can't
it
say
out
that,
loud.
but that's what, yes, but that's what this means. Also, I don't want to give Schultz any credit, much of a credit for this. This is them losing votes to the so-called far right parties, right? This is them realizing that these far right parties are becoming so popular, and they're trying to shift their position so that they're not bleeding so much votes to them, to to the AFD, right? And it might work. It might work because the main reason, the problem with these AFD party in Germany is that, I mean, the good thing about them is that they're anti-mass migration. The problem with them is that they're isolationists, and they're also very pro Putin. Okay, they're very pro Russia. So they
Yeah,
went
what's
from
that on about?
uh,
What the
yeah,
fuck?
so they're what they are anti-Islam, which is an illiberal idea, but they're also pro another illiberal idea, which is Putinism. Right? So that's the pro. So the benefit that we have from this AFD party, parties like the AFD, is that they come in, they steal the votes from these more centrist parties, and these centrist parties, hopefully, is that they would readjust their position so that they're not bleeding so much votes. So hopefully they will have more sane positions in a way that they are not this loose with migration, but at the same time, I don't want these parties that are so illiberal, so pro Putin to win as well. So hopefully, again, I know this is very small and very late, but the most beneficial effect that we could get from all of this is from these other liberal parties to readjust their position to a more sane position, like what we're seeing right now here. Yeah,
Mhm. John is so
yeah,
funny. He's saying AFD also has some messed up historiographical views, to put it mildly. Many of them hate
yeah.
Roma too. For those who don't know, Roma is the politically correct term for gypsy. Okay. John, let's be
No,
honest.
I.
That's called
Mm.
being European. I'm for our Europeans, I'm taking the piss, okay? I'm making a joke. But low key, I never want to hear Europeans talking about how racist Americans are when I hear what they say about the Roma, okay? They say never ask a woman her age, a man how much money he makes, and a European their opinion on the Roma. Because what I have heard Europeans say about the Roma is more casual and 10 times worse than what I have ever in my life heard any like white American say about a black person. I swear to God. I'm like, you don't guys, you guys don't have the room to trash us. When you say the craziest shit way more casually.
Yeah.
Oh, Kenny is saying that's a bit
Yeah.
racist
No
towards
kidding.
Europeans, Susanna. I think he's joking. I'm being silly.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it just tickles
Um.
me.
Let me actually respond to some more comments. I don't know how to pronounce.
Talking
Oh my God. What the
This
hell?
is I caught you. I caught you.
Jesus. Okay. Let's not open this can of worms. We might get in trouble on YouTube if you open that. Okay. Okay.
I caught you, motherfucker. I caught you.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, let's get to the comments. When they find out that they will just lie in these tests. Yeah, exactly. That's the main problem with these tests. This is why I think it's not enough to ask these people. First of all, the good thing is that they're looking at their social media. So even if they want to lie on their tests, if they have a record of taking these positions, they will hold that against them. I think that's not enough. I think it should go on to even after the test. They basically have to always been told if they get reported for taking these positions even after they get their citizenship. I think their citizenship should be stripped away from them.
It
That's
can
my
be considered
position.
fraud.
Yeah, exactly. Nastasia, am I pronouncing it right? I think I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna name my daughter that. Okay, Nastasia said, "Yep," and that's the way it is. Don't give the Germans history lessons about the First Amendment. They learned the horrible way. Yeah, okay. So, like I mentioned, this is not a violation of freedom of expression. In my view, freedom of expression should be for individuals, and also it's not. It's for your citizens. It's for your citizenship. It's, for your citizen. It shouldn't be for citizenship tests, because if you think like I should be able to allow, if you are against citizenships, including your views, that means that your citizenship is open to anybody with any view. Obviously, that would be a ridiculous standard that no country has. Every country has certain, um, almost every liberal country has certain criteria for certain values and views that you have to have for you to be a citizen. And nobody considers that a violation of people's free speech. And given that we already have that as precedent, then why not increase the values and views that we require from you? Yes, I agree with this. Falcon saying, Armin and Susanna, you should check out. What is
He's
this?
talking about Hassan Piker.
Oh,
What did Hassan
Parker?
say about this?
Yeah,
I haven't seen. I try to
I
avoid
don't
his
know.
content, man.
Yeah. Anyways, GJ has a super chat for you. So you want to read that while we get this
GJ,
next
thank you
news?
for the super chat. Saying Susanna, does Google Translate integration in the Chrome browser not work well enough for you to read German language content? I use it on Russian. I mean, it's all right. It's not the best.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.